Imagine a small group of nomads from the vast, windswept steppes of Mongolia, rising up to conquer half the known world in just a few short decades. How did the Mongols, under the legendary leadership of Genghis Khan, forge the largest contiguous empire in all of human history? What unstoppable tactics, hidden innovations, and even environmental twists allowed them to dominate from the Pacific shores to the edges of Europe? Stick around as we dive deep into their incredible story, uncovering lesser-known facts backed by the latest archaeological discoveries and historical insights that will change how you see ancient warfare forever. If you're already hooked on these historical mysteries, hit that like button right now to show your support, and let's get started. Our journey begins in the early 13th century, specifically in 1206, when a fierce warrior named Temujin achieved something extraordinary. After years of brutal tribal conflicts and personal hardships, including the loss of his father at a young age and betrayal by allies, he united the scattered Mongol tribes under a single banner. This unification wasn't just about power. It was a masterstroke of organization. Temujin, now proclaimed Genghis Khan, which means universal ruler, implemented a system of meritocracy that was revolutionary for its time. Unlike the rigid aristocracies of other societies, where birthright determined status, Genghis promoted based on talent and loyalty. Take, for example, Subutai, a humble commoner who rose to become one of history's greatest generals. Subutai led campaigns across 65 battles, defeating forces from 32 different nations without suffering a single major loss. This approach created an army of unparalleled dedication and skill, where every soldier knew their role could lead to greatness. But unification was just the spark. What followed was an explosion of conquest that still baffles historians today. From 1206 to 1227, in a mere 21 years, Genghis Khan's forces swept across northern China, toppling the powerful Jin dynasty. They didn't stop there. Turning westward, they dismantled the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia. Cities like Bukhara and Samarkand, once thought impregnable, fell in days. How? It started with a diplomatic insult. The Khwarezmian Shah executed Mongol envoys, igniting Genghis's wrath. The Mongols responded with swift, calculated strikes, using borrowed engineering knowledge from conquered peoples to breach walls that had stood for centuries. By the time of Genghis's death in 1227, rumored to be from a fall off his horse or perhaps illness during a campaign, the empire already spanned an astonishing 11 million square kilometers, larger than the Roman Empire at its peak. Genghis's successors didn't let the momentum fade. His son, Ogedei Khan, took the reins and pushed even further. In the late 1230s, Mongol armies invaded Eastern Europe, crushing the Russian principalities at key battles like the one along the Sit River in 1238. Here, they employed clever psychological tactics, spreading tales of their invincibility to demoralize opponents before the fight even began. If you're fascinated by how these nomads outsmarted settled empires, make sure to subscribe now so you don't miss our future explorations of ancient strategies. Moving on, under Mongol Khan, the Mongols sacked Baghdad in 1258, effectively ending the Abbasid Caliphate that had ruled the Islamic world for centuries. This assault not only destroyed grand libraries, but also preserved and spread knowledge through Mongol patronage of scholars. Finally, Kublai Khan, Genghis's grandson, completed the conquest of southern China's Song dynasty by 1279, after grueling naval and siege battles. At its zenith, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Korean peninsula all the way to Hungary, encompassing 23 million square kilometers and overseeing around 100 million people, roughly a quarter of the world's population at the time. They even turned Korea into a vassal state through repeated raids and attempted invasions of Japan in 1274 and 1281,
only to be repelled by legendary kamikaze typhoons that scattered their fleets.
So, what made this rapid domination possible? Mobility was the cornerstone. Mongol warriors, raised on horseback from childhood, could cover up to 100 miles in a single day on their sturdy ponies, far outpacing the foot soldiers of their enemies. Their composite bows, crafted from layers of horn, wood, and sinew, allowed them to fire arrows with deadly accuracy from horseback, piercing armor at distances of 300 meters or more. But it was their tactics that truly set them apart. The feigned retreat, for instance, involved pretending to flee, to draw enemies into vulnerable positions, only to turn and envelop them in a devastating ambush. This was part of a broader strategy called the tulugma, an encircling maneuver that trapped foes like a net closing in. Recent comparative studies, such as one published in 2023 by Decoded, highlight how these tactics echoed and surpassed those of ancient kingdoms like Goguryeo, emphasizing flexibility and surprise. Psychological warfare amplified their physical prowess. The Mongols deliberately cultivated a reputation for ruthlessness, spreading exaggerated stories of boiling enemies alive or stacking skulls into pyramids to induce cities to surrender without a fight. This not only conserved resources, but also minimized casualties on their side, and they were masters of adaptation. When invading northern China in 1211, they encountered gunpowder for the first time, quickly incorporating it into their arsenal as bombs and incendiary devices. From the Persians, they adopted advanced siege engines like trebuchets, turning nomadic horsemen into experts at urban warfare. Even their military organization was ingenious. A decimal system, dividing troops into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, allowing for seamless command and rapid reconfiguration on the battlefield. As detailed in U.S. Army University Press analyses, these structures bear striking similarities to modern military doctrines. Environmental factors played a surprisingly crucial role too. A 15-year period of mild, wet weather from 1211 to 1225, as noted in National Geographic studies, led to abundant grasslands, providing ample feed for their horses and sustaining larger armies during campaigns. But the Mongols' impact on the environment was double-edged. A groundbreaking 2011 study in the Holocene Journal, with updates in 2025 research, estimates that their conquests reduced global carbon emissions by about 700 million tons, equivalent to a full year of modern gasoline consumption. How? By depopulating vast farmlands through warfare and relocation, allowing forests to regrow and absorb carbon from the atmosphere. Recent 2025 papers in Nature and Science Direct challenge old assumptions, suggesting that persistent arid conditions in grasslands actually facilitated their westward expansion from 1227 to 1241 by creating open routes for swift movement. If these environmental twists intrigue you, comment below with your thoughts. What do you think was the biggest factor in their success? Life under Mongol rule wasn't all about conquest. It brought profound changes that connected the world in ways we still feel today. The era known as Pax Mongolica created a bubble of stability across Eurasia, reviving the ancient Silk Road trade routes. Caravans laden with spices, silk, porcelain, and ideas flowed freely from China to Europe, enabling explorers like Marco Polo to travel safely and document their journeys. The Mongols introduced paper money to new regions, influencing economic systems far beyond their borders, and developed the Yam postal network, a system of relay stations spaced every 20 to 30 miles, where riders could swap horses and deliver messages at speeds of up to 200 miles per day. This was light years ahead of anything in Europe at the time. Surprisingly, the Mongols were tolerant rulers. They practiced religious freedom, allowing Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, and shamans to coexist and even intermarry. Genghis himself consulted spiritual advisors from various faiths and banned unnecessary torture in some administrative contexts. Women held significant power in Mongol society. For instance, Toragena Khatun served as regent after Ogeday's death, skillfully managing the empire's vast affairs and influencing succession. Genetic legacies underscore their reach. Studies show that Genghis Khan's Y chromosome lineage appears in about 0.5% of the world's male population today, a testament to the intermingling during their rule. And in an ironic twist, places like Moscow owe their rise to the Mongols. As a tax collection center for the Golden Horde Khanate, it gained prominence that laid the groundwork for Russian statehood. Recent archaeological discoveries in 2025 continue to peel back layers of this empire's mysteries. In May, researchers revealed that the enigmatic Gobi Wall, long thought a defensive structure, was actually a tool of statecraft for the Shisha kingdom, interacting with Mongol expansions and reshaping our understanding of medieval Inner Asian borders. Just days ago, a study combining DNA from Mongolian burial sites provided new insights into late Mongol social organization, showing dynamic population shifts and elite hierarchies through genetic markers. Excavations in Turkey's Van region uncovered remnants of Ilkhan Hulagu Khan's summer palace, with hexagonal ceramic patterns and zebad carvings matching Mongolian prototypes, confirming the empire's architectural influence in the Middle East. In Mongolia itself, field schools in the Orkhon Valley are unearthing Uyghur-influenced sites, highlighting how the Mongols adapted scripts and urban planning from predecessors. A newly discovered burial site in Selenge province, explored in exclusive expeditions, features substantial pit burials with wooden coffins and stone rings from pre-Mongol times, offering clues to cultural continuity. And in April, Siberian Federal University rediscovered a collection of Genghis-era artifacts, including tools and ornaments that illuminate daily life and craftsmanship. These finds, from sources like Archaeology Magazine and Heritage Daily, paint a richer picture of an empire that blended nomadism with sophisticated governance. Yet, even the mightiest empires have their limits. By the late 1300s, internal divisions fractured the Mongol realm into four main khanates: the Yuan dynasty in China, which fell to the Ming in 1368 amid rebellions like the Red Turban Uprising; the Golden Horde in Russia, which fragmented in the 15th century; the Ilkhanate in Persia, dissolving as rulers converted to Islam and faced local revolts; and the Chagatai Khanate in Central Asia, succumbing to overextension and infighting. Factors like the Black Death Plague, which ravaged populations in the mid-13th century, and environmental shifts toward drier climates weakened their hold. Despite this, their legacy is profound. They connected distant cultures, facilitating the exchange of technologies like gunpowder and printing that sparked the European Renaissance. The Uyghur-based script they adopted still forms the basis of modern Mongolian writing. The Mongols didn't just dominate the world in decades. They reshaped it through ingenuity, adaptability, and sheer will. What surprises you most about their story? Their environmental footprint, tactical brilliance, or recent digs uncovering lost artifacts? Drop your favorite fact in the comments below, and let's discuss. If you've made it this far and love uncovering these ancient secrets, smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this video with a fellow history enthusiast. Your support helps us bring more epic tales to life. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep exploring the past.